What's up, guys? Today I'm going to talk about how I structure my fundamentals adult classes. So, unlike the kids class, I do a little bit of a longer warm-up for my adults. I do a warm-up based on dynamic stretching, with which Chelsea has really helped me with this. And the reason for this is you want people to be warm, but you don't want them to be exhausted before they start the technical portion of class. So I know some schools do like a very rigorous, physically intensive warm-up before you start the technical instruction portion. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's productive in making someone a better jiu-jitsu player other than improving their athletic ability, because you don't want to be exhausted by the time you learn technique, already sweating, already having your muscles worked and tired. You're less likely to take in that technique and be able to implement it later during positional drilling, which is very, very important. So I do a light stretch-based warm-up, mainly dynamic stretching, that kind of thing, just to loosen people up and lower the chance of injury. Now, my technical instruction for the adults is roughly 30 to 40 minutes, and I tend to stick with 2 to 4 techniques per day. I average around 3, and it just really depends on what we're working that day, how many techniques we're going to do. So I structure my curriculum positionally. So my very first lesson is on back control, and we do back control for about a month. We do back control, front headlock, turtle, all those positions that play with the same kind of techniques and entry strategies. We do that for the first month of jiu-jitsu, right? Now, the other stuff, the guard, the passing, we do that for about 3 months. Guard and passing is a very intricate game, and it has a lot of different techniques that even a beginner needs to know, and a lot of basic positions that a beginner needs to work through. So guard and passing, it takes a long time, even just for a fundamentals level curriculum. So mine is about 3 months long. And I add wrestling to that. I intersperse wrestling through that because I think wrestling and guard and passing, those are the two neutral games. Obviously I would say the passer has a slight advantage, specifically when you're talking about self-defense. But when you're talking about sport jiu-jitsu or just live training, wrestling and passing, those are the two neutral positions. And you need to be good at those positions because they allow you to enter into the dominant positions. If you can't enter into the dominant positions, then you can't really work your offensive skill sets. Now, for the other things like side control, mount, etc., and I break side control down into like 4 or 5 different positions, you need to stay there in the positional drilling part of class and work from those positions if you want to get any good at them, okay? So let me put it this way, very briefly. If I'm a white belt and we worked back control that day, if I do not start in back control in the positional drilling part of class, how many times will I get to the back naturally in a roll, in an unstructured roll, if I roll with 4 or 5 people? Okay? If I'm very new and I'm going against people that have been here longer than me, maybe once, maybe twice, maybe 0 times. Okay? So I'm not really working that position a lot, even though that's what we did in class. So the next part to this is no matter where we are in the curriculum, I have a positional drill that will help work the skills of the positions and techniques that we worked on that week. Okay? So if we're working from back control, we're going to do back, escape, or submit drills. The top person is going to try to submit the bottom person, and the bottom person is going to try to escape, okay? So you're building on all the offensive skills that you need in that dominant position. So you're not working your entries, right? Because entries is its own skill, and that's something that you need to work on in unstructured rolling. But you're working your retention skills, you're working your grip fighting skills, and you're working your breaking mechanics on your submissions, okay? And those skills are very, very difficult for a new person to work on if they're just doing an unstructured roll, because they're not going to get into those positions very often in the very beginning. If you're a high rank and you're rolling against white belts, then that's totally different, because obviously you'll be able to get into those positions much more at will than the lower ranks will. Therefore, it's kind of easier for the more advanced people to train offensive skills in that way. Okay, so I have other videos talking about the importance of positional training, but I make that about 10 minutes of my adult class, okay? The reason is, for my adult class, I have open mat, right? Now, Before Open Mat, I have 5 minutes of questions where I ask, does anybody have a question on anything we worked on? Okay, this is a good opportunity for people that, are like, well, what if your opponent does this, or I had trouble with this, you can answer those questions, instead of them not voicing maybe what they wanted to learn, and people will do that. Some people are shy about asking questions if they're not prompted. So giving that 5 minutes at the end of class for questions helps the white belts engage more and ask questions about things they want to learn, and it helps you as an instructor also understand what people are focused on and what kind of trouble they're having, so you can better coach them, maybe better teach the lesson in the future. Now, Open Mat, okay? So adult classes have Open Mat. I let people stick around as long as they want, within reason. Don't stay more than an hour, But, like an hour of open rolling is quite a bit. Most people won't roll that much, but it is an option if you guys want to. Now, that's why I don't do as much positional drilling in my adult class as I do in my kids. In my kids class, I do about 10 to 15 minutes. In my adults, I try to stick to 10 because I know adults generally want to roll during Open Mat afterwards, and I want to make them too tired, too exhausted from the positional drilling, so that they don't want to roll during Open Mat. I do want them to do that unstructured rolling. And this way that I run class, this is integrated into like a roughly 7-month curriculum that I have. And I've been releasing those videos over these last few weeks, right? So every video that I've released technique-wise, except for the ones where I've had guest instructors show their techniques, they're part of my curriculum, okay? Part of my fundamentals curriculum. So eventually, once I'm done with that, in a few months from now, I will start moving on to my advanced lessons. So I hope you guys stick around for that. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope this was informative to you. If you have a different way that you run class, if there's something you want to expand on, if there's something you want to add, make sure you drop a comment. Let's discuss. Everyone has a different strategy for how they run class, but I hope this video was useful for anyone that's interested in maybe becoming an assistant instructor or eventually having their own school one day. Make sure you share the video. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Click that notification bell as well. That will make sure that you guys get notified when we have new videos, and it really helps us out. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you next time.